This is your video for Monday, April 20th, 13.6 Math Fundamentals, and we're going to be moving into three-dimensional figures. So we're just going to go over what these figures are called before we start learning how to measure them. So the first thing we're going to talk about are a cube, and we learned about a cube last time. A cube is made up of squares all the same size. Okay, so in order for it to be a cube, this side, the height, would need to be 1. This would need to be this measurement, and this would need to be this measurement. Basically, it's built of all squares, all the same size. That's a cube. Okay? Now, when we talk about faces, the front, if I were to color this front end, that is a face. And you've done this before, and remember, this is the edge where the faces meet. And then we have the vertices, which are the points. Okay? All right, so let's talk about an important part of a cube. So if I was holding my cube, I'm going to hold this prism. The bottom where it sits on the floor is a base, but the top is also a base. Okay, so let's be thinking about that as we start building our prisms. Now, a prism, okay, has rectangles on the sides. Okay, we call that a prism. A prism will have the same shape on bottom as it has on the top. So in this case, let's do a rectangular prism. Let's start with a rectangle as our base. And then as we build it up, it's a little bit harder for me to do it from this direction. Okay, so let me dot this one so you can see. It's in the back. So here we have a rectangular prism. Okay, so a tissue box, a shoe box is a rectangular prism. And we call it a prism because it has the same base on top as it has on the bottom. They're exactly the same shape, and they are a rectangle. Okay, and then it's made of rectangles and squares going around. You can see this is a rectangular prism. Okay, now if you look at the next shape, it's also a prism because it has rectangles and squares around the sides, but if you'll notice, the next one has a triangle for the base. Okay, so it goes up like this, comes down. Okay, so something like this, if you'll see, we still have the rectangle or the square for the sides, but the bases are a triangle. So this one we call it a triangular prism. Okay, triangular prism. Let's keep moving on. Next we're going to talk about pyramids. Now a pyramid can have any shape as its base, but it always comes to a point on the top. Okay, so let's look at a triangular prism. Okay, so in this case, you see that our base is a triangle. Here, I'll color it in. And you see that it has triangular faces, but it comes to a point. So this is a triangular pyramid. Okay, and then so let's look at the next pyramid. It has a what on the bottom? It has a rectangle. Now, it's still made of triangles on the side, and it comes to a point. We call this one a rectangular pyramid. Okay, and the last one, you see it has a pentagon on the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it comes to a point, a little bit harder to draw there. But you can see that the base is a pentagon, so we would call this one a pentagonal pyramid. Okay, so you can basically have a pyramid of any shape on the bottom except for a circle, because that has a different definition. Okay, a cylinder is where we start using circles. A cylinder is like a can of vegetables, okay, or a can of soda. It has a circle for a base and a circle for a base. We call it a cylinder. I'm sure this is just review on some of these shapes. If it has a circle on the bottom but comes to a point, we call it a cone, like a party hat. Okay, and the last one is a sphere. A sphere is like a soccer ball or a basketball, right? It's that round shape. It doesn't have a base. It doesn't sit flat. It rolls. It's a sphere. Okay, so those are your different shapes, but pay attention, flip back and forth between those, okay? You're going to be naming the faces of a cube. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 faces. Edges, you'd have to count all the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 12 edges. And how many vertices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You really have to think about that 3D shape. Find something in your house that's that shape, and that will help you count them if you need to. Okay, so you're going to be naming the shapes today, so make sure you pay attention. Look at the bases. Does it have a base on the bottom and a base on the top, or does it come to the point? And then use your notes that we've taken today and in your book to help you. Let's do numbers 1 through 20 today. Let me know if you need help.